Good afternoon, everyone. So, hi, everyone. I know mostly everybody here. But my name is David. For those of you, I'm in Osaka. And I run and operate FunDo. So we operate the ABCDavid English schools. And the topics that was chosen and I was asked by Eric to do it is about team building. And also anything, administrative and things like that. And a lot of it comes not necessarily from my vast experience in running English school, but it's more come before, because my background was in hotels and hospitality management, so I was a general manager for Ritz-Carlton, and I was involved in team building for a very long time, especially building the culture, school culture, hotel culture. You would say, and one of the things that the hotels that like when I was working at Ritz-Carlton, my hotel was number 2 out of the entire Ritz-Carlton company in retention. So which is Ritz-Carlton is right now is around 110 hotels in 30 plus countries. So it's quite big, and hotels are quite large and has a lot of staff. From waiters and busboys and kitchen staff and bellboys and everything. So that's kind of my experience come in, and I use that experience to build in school. So a little bit about me. But I was thinking how to do this. So I was when Adam was talking in his discussion, and I was thinking which way better to do. So I'm going to ask you to decide how this will go instead. And because the topic was Ask David Anything, so I received a lot of questions. So to sit here and answer, we can either do that, or I can read out some questions and put out and then we can discuss. But you guys can decide which way you want to go.
That's a good start, right?
Yes.
Why don't you start with your question?
So start with the question, okay? Because I know we probably won't be able to cover everyone's because there's quite a lot. There's quite a lot, but some questions are similar.
I'm passing some chips around.
Oh, thank you.
Some questions were similar, so probably they will be in.
Do I look like I need...
Passing them around to one person.
Yeah, I've done this. Would you like a chip?
So then we'll do the questions, yeah, and then some questions maybe if it's directed to me, then I will do the input some of my own stuff, and then maybe we'll have a group discussion. Sounds good? Okay. So
Do you guys want to slide back a bit so these guys can come in? Jeremy?
Yeah, Colin, come on.
Slide back a bit.
I don't want to chip, I want to sit down.
Come on.
Let me in.
I'll move the table, okay. I can't. Hang on, because of it's connected. Hang on, don't move the table. Okay. So the first question, one of the first questions. So that was from Lawrence Hunt. So if you had to make a bullet point list of the top 5 concepts to keep in mind when building a strong team, what would they be? I have my 5 bullet points, and I was wondering if let's maybe give it 5 minutes that everybody either 2 small groups or 1 big group and come up with yours, and we'll see if we align.
Can you read the question again?
If you had to make a bullet point list of the top 5 concepts to keep in mind when building a strong team, what would they be? Cool. So we'll give it 5 minutes. Yeah.
Concepts or ideals or what?
Top 5 concepts to keep in mind when building a strong team in your company. So many people here probably have employees, right? So when you're building a strong team or building a strong culture, so what were the top 5 concepts would you think are important in building a strong team? Go.
It's weird. I always hire people according to their personality instead of their skills and experiences. I think that it's easy to change people. Like it's easy to teach how people do things. It's impossible to change a guy or an adult. So personality is always important. And to me, the other thing is empathy. I try to become the family. Like, because a lot of us, like, we don't see the family, we don't see our parents, our siblings, we see our coworkers a lot more. So I have people who actually just went with me with like my really bad times, some things that I did really badly. My mom passed away, I didn't do anything at the school. And then they just stand there for me just because they think that, Doris, you are the closest to me in Japan, other than my girlfriend. So I think that's what's important to me. I think there are a lot of things that you can ask them to do, but if they don't want to do it for you, there's nothing.
Okay. Nick, anything from your experience?
Are those on your bullet points?
Well, we'll go over my
We're
bullet
playing
points
a game.
later,
We're
but
not playing against the
everybody
game.
have different ideas, right? So,
Training them properly.
okay.
I think that's what I've dealt with. If you don't have a good training program, everything kind of ends up flying by the seat of your pants and everything.
I actually hire all my staff purposely with no experience.
Me too. Yep.
Because you're just bringing in other companies' problems otherwise, right? I don't want anyone from Nova, anyone from, I want to start a clean slate, straight out of university, so the training is very important.
Yep.
Do you have problems like training the younger guys?
Do I have problems training?
Training like the fresh graduates? Like, I try not to hire people under 30 years old.
Well, no, that's exactly what I do. Hire them straight out of university with no employment history other than working through university, part-time. And then they go through our training system. I've got a head trainer, then a junior trainer that look after that. And then they come to me and help. But no,
A lot of these are recruiting, that's a
Colin.
So I was brought into recruiting in a company a while back, and I've always kept that. It's something I learned was, you see, knowledge, skills, and attitudes are generally things involved in the interview, and skills are things that can be taught, and knowledge is something that's acquired or taught. An attitude is something that's embedded within something. So the attitude is possibly one of the most important aspects to consider when you're recruiting, because they may have all the skills necessary and the knowledge, but if the attitude is problematic for you as an employer, then colleagues as well,
that's really hard.
a really difficult one to get right out of as well. So the attitude I always used to spend a lot of time trying to interview for.
Wesley?
I struggle with the fact that I'm quite young. Everyone I hire is like my mother's age or my grandmother's age. Trying to communicate with them my expectations, but still holding that respect for conversation, still sort of acknowledging the age difference, the experience difference. I struggle with a little bit.
Anyone else?
29. My youngest employee is 58.
Talking about can't teach all dogs new tricks, huh? I'm an old dog. Come on. Roof. Anyone else?
That's
Nick is
hard,
just so.
what he's doing. I opened my school when I was 24, and everyone was older. Then the people I hired are a little bit older than me. And the first 5 years was difficult, to be honest. And I had to become an asshole, basically. I had to toughen up.
Did you find that came naturally?
Yes. It was embedded in there somewhere. But yeah, my second hire, or my first real hire, was the worst experience of my life, actually. I hired an older gentleman from a very big country that a lot of people are from. And yeah, the first 3 months he had a probation period. He was excellent, great attitude. The day his probation finished, he actually came to work and asked me, "Is my probation over yet?" Yeah. And then he gave me a list of shit he doesn't do. Yeah. And then it took me another 3 months to get him out using a lawyer. So anyway, that was we've all got those stories, right?
Those later, yes. So we got so far right now. We got let's say hiring training, right?
Hiring training.
Any other points? But when building the team, we already hired, you already trained. Now you're building the. Now, how do you get unified everybody to get on board as your owners to get in line with your vision?
This may, I don't know if it's left field or not, but when I recruit people, I usually kind of say, maybe it's because it's in Tokyo and stuff, and there's a lot of opportunities for, going to work at universities or something like this, but I'm always saying to them, like long-term, hope it is a long-term relationship, but, sounds not meant to be related, but like, don't be afraid to move on just because you're joining my school now. Doesn't mean you have to commit to 10 years or 20 years, the rest of your life. And we've retained staff for a long time, which is great, but it doesn't have to be because you're joining now. You have to be there forever. Sort of thing. So it's not a manager, and also, but then there should be a progression as well for them to move up and do other stuff if they want to do that as well.
That's the point, probably. Offering progression. The ability to move up in your company.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna, so we can move on. I'm gonna read you, sorry, some of the things. I don't keep so many things in my head because there's a lot of stuff, like being on the boat with Adam. So I prepared it on the paper. So for me, 5 points. One is to have a clear purpose and shared goals. So to have a clear purpose, so whenever we do an onboarding, for example, that's where it starts. Actually, it starts for us during the interview process. We touch a little bit on that, but when we do onboarding, I personally spend time doing onboarding, and we spend maybe an hour or two just to go and to already plant the seeds during onboarding process. So once they're in training or during the probation, they already kind of know what the expectations. So clear purpose and shared goals. So every team needs a unified mission, and clear, well-communicated objectives give direction and keep everyone aligned. So that's the first point for me. Second one is complementary skills and diversity. And the strongest team usually is made up from individuals from a different strength, perspective, backgrounds, and that way it covers the wide range of different needs. If you look at a lot of like big or well-known companies, even like Apple, what else? Apple, Google. So
I'm thinking.
It's coffee. So the third point is trust and psychological safety, which is team members feel safe to speak up, take risk, and be vulnerable without fear of embarrassment or punishment, which does happen a lot in companies, big or small. The fourth one is open communication and feedback. Transparent, respectful, and frequent communication helps prevent misunderstandings and foster continuous improvement. And number 5 is accountability and ownership. So everyone should understand their responsibilities on the team and be held accountable while also feeling empowered to take initiative. For example, at my school, we actually drive that particular point quite strongly. And for the same reasons what Adam said, that he hires everyone with a clean slate and without any baggage. And I completely understand why. Because it's just like, it's easier to train. If you ever had a dog and have a small puppy, it's much easier to train a small puppy than the senior dog that you hire who already set in their ways, and if they used to pee in the house, they will pee in the house. So that's kind of what it is, right? But and a lot of times, no matter, even still now with some people, they are afraid of what they call retaliation. Although we tell them that it's open communication, there is no retaliation, but they might be afraid to put an idea forward or to speak up because either they don't want to be embarrassed, or what if my idea is not good enough, and things like that. So in our school, we always push, I would say agenda, but we always said, in our company, best decision wins. And I picked it up, I think, from Steve Jobs. So best ideas wins. It's not, we don't have a hierarchy. And what I mean by hierarchy is, I'm not, we have a role. Everybody have a role. My role is the CEO. Your role is a teacher. Your role is an office manager. And if we all do the job we were hired and assigned to do for our role, it creates a team environment, and everyone's input aligns with the vision and mission of our company. So that kind of eliminates that hierarchy. So even when I type messages to my team or do any communication, you know, it's even if it's very formal, I would usually just put David. So it's because if I put David, CEO of ABCDavid and things like that, to me it sounds more like, okay, like I'm kind of making that hierarchy thing. So it's a lot of time, a lot of thinking how you say it. So that's the 5 for me. What do you guys think? So clear purpose, shared goals, complementary skills and diversity, trust and psychological safety, open communication and feedback, accountability and ownership.
That's the hardest one.
Accountability and ownership? Yes. Absolutely.
Really hard.
Diversity is definitely important, and I don't mean that in a more modern sense at all. But you were going to say something about all the big companies. I think it was in the diversity display.
Say it again?
You were just about to say something, and then something happened. I fell asleep or something. But,
No.
you were going to say something about Apple and Google or something, and then you didn't actually say it.
No. So basically, in Apple and Google, or if you listen to Steve Jobs, his previous conversations, dialogues, right? And who's the CEO of Google? Amazon, sorry. Amazon, not Google.
Jeff Bezos.
Bezos, right? Bezos. They also reflect a lot on diversity, because from diversity comes different perspectives and different ideas, which helps build a better company and stronger company as well. So the culture. So that's what I was going to say.
Sure. So I totally agree. But when you look at the top companies, also very often their board team is a group of. And why do you need a group? Because you might as well just get one. Well, and that's the same for any team, is that the diversity, not just the skills, but the demographics. And actually, I would just throw a question at Adam's thing, is that's great. I understand the employing the young raw ones, but you probably lack diversity, not in any political sense, but just you don't have an experience where you may not have people that have been outside of education. That's where the team might sort of be deficient in some sense. So that diversity thing.
Straight off the bat, I agree. Yeah. But now the company's evolved for 15 years, and some of our staff have been there 15 years.
Sure, so you're building it in.
It's built up over the years, and now we've obviously got different levels. Starting up a new company, but getting all fresh with no experience, very difficult.
Yeah, it's about balance, like how much you can manage. Like, first when you're younger, me too, I look younger than I am. I am a female, I am not white, right? So I didn't study education, I studied marketing and management. So I had problem managing people. It's like if you guys hire people older, more experienced, you can. But for us, maybe we cannot. So there are 2 ways. Like I work for Google. I work for Google hiring recruitment. Is require people who are Google leaders. According to how Google you are. It's just like how much you can fit into my company. So every time I hire people, I train people. Every time I have a meeting, I say, this is my skill. My skill is called Kids English. If you want to, we want you to be part of the team to build the school according to how I want it. Because every school has a different personality. I love David's school, but I won't be the same as his school. I will be the same as your school. And this is what's the beauty of us is, We are all like individuals. We are not ECC. We are not like whatever it is, right? Nova, right? So I keep telling them that, if this school speaks to you, stay. Come to me. If not, see you, and this is the example, right? Yeah. So I think you have to think about yourself. Are you able to manage your diversity? I am not.
Thank you. Good point. Okay, let's move on. Next question. Next question comes from Taya. Hi, Taya. What does moving from a one-man gig to an employer look like? When, how do you know it's time to expand? I have a very short answer for you, and then everybody probably can pitch in. My answer is whenever you feel you're ready. That's it. I don't think anybody can tell you you do it this way, because when you feel you're ready, that's when you should expand. However, my advice is don't rush to expand if you are not organized yourself, if you don't have processes set. Because if you think you're going to hire somebody and it will free up your time without being organized, It's a myth. You will be more busier and more stressed. That's my answer. Anybody else? Something to add?
Yeah, Lawrence mentioned earlier about some of the things he had done were reactions to situations, like adding on extra classes, and it could just, I think it can fall onto your plate really that, well, we've got more students, there's a chance there to take on another teacher. And he worked with me before starting his own school, but the final year he was with me, he knew that he was going to start his own school up, and he took that time to take on extra responsibilities in the school and get prepared for opening his own school. And that was something I never did. It happened organically, and I'm still feel like I'm still trying to get my head above water. But I don't think you can get prepared for every eventuality, but a lot of those systems that you can get defined, whether it's teaching systems or office systems, you don't know what you don't know, but those that you can prepare, getting as much of that ready before taking someone else on as possible is save a lot of headaches further on.
Yeah, I think my question is very broadly stated, but like with the experience you have now, like what made you do the jump in the first place, and then what is your regret or success on top of that choice that you made? Like Lawrence mentioned, I had all these students, I thought I'd chuck a bunch of teachers at it, it didn't work. Or who was it who presented on the AI?
Yuka?
Yuka, like I introduced the ACAN with all these things and then created myself. Her result was to make an app, and how also she covered it, but that was probably a regret in the beginning, but she turned it into success. So that kind of thing for people who
The guy has a lot of skills.
yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I mean,
You
there's
look like
definitely,
you're ready to
well,
go.
definitely there's the way you can go about it. I mean, I have a lot of regrets, which I don't need to talk about now, but like, it does depend on opportunity as well. Like, so we do some corporate work in the business, and originally it was like 4 days a week, and that was a big part of my salary. And then, so it got to the decision, well, I can't be in two places at once, really, so that was who's going to help. So that was the main reason to get someone in. Originally, my wife helped, and there was some issues there, like working with my wife, living with my wife together. So then we were like, well, it's better to just bring in a teacher, and originally it's like part-time, and then we realized, like, well, why don't we get him full-time, and then so on. So I think it depends on.
Could we turn it around and ask Taya why you haven't stepped out and hired someone else?
I have 30 students. I'm not really. I'm definitely not organized enough to be like it would just be too random. So I need to get my shit organized more in curriculum or class times. Everything is still a bit chaotic.
So what's your interest in wanting to hire another teacher? Is it because you feel you don't have enough time? Or, sorry, I'm doing your job.
No,
Sorry.
I think my main interest is future planning, like maybe like baby steps working up towards that. Right now I'm still working an ALT job from 8:30 to 3:30, and then from 4 to 7 or 10, depending on the day, I'm working my ACAI. And I have 2 kids, and I have some health issues that schedule is just crazy shit for my health as well. So, but I need the money. So, how can I create enough space to get someone else in, and then trying to envision what would be the timing or what steps I need.
Do you have the market? Like, do you have people waiting?
I don't
knocking
have
on the door?
knocking right now. That's something also I need to work for, but I think it could be a possibility if I got working more on advertising.
Would you suggest a second location, if taking the location to where the market is?
I think the location is good.
So you can grow it there?
I think it
So you
grow
can
there.
grow bigger than your 30 students.
Then max it out first there.
So my plan is to like work on the marketing, get people knocking at the door, get a waiting list, get the levels and curriculum together a little bit more, so it's a little bit more autopilot,
That means it makes you busy for a long time. Busier.
Which is going to be crazy in
Right?
the beginning, but hopefully for a better finish.
Yeah.
One
Example of go ahead.
one thing we hope we're all but one issue you may have is when you switch the teacher, your existing students will not be happy about this. So maybe you could do like pair teaching for the start and that kind of thing. Now, what we do with our staff is we rotate every couple of months, and we've got that from you, I think, and other people as well. And it really is nice, and it's much better for team building as well, because now everybody can complain about the same students as well.
The biggest failure I've seen is a one-man band who's hired another teacher and then just sat out of the classroom. And then the students just dropped off until he had to fire the teacher and go back to teaching, and he didn't want to teach it. Business not going to work.
I think it could go two ways, right? It could go really badly because, like, obviously they've come for you and you're putting in a different personality, a different skill set, so that's gonna maybe lose half of your students. Or it could go really well, and this is like, why do I need you? I could just move 2 houses down the street.
So I think what he's saying is
ways, right?
That's why you need the curriculum, as you say. Like you're going to have
and you're probably half the curriculum to yourself. But hedge your bets. Rotate every second week. Tire plus one. So they're getting you twice a month, and then slowly wean yourself back. And then if you were to get sick for example, you needed to step back, you're not bringing in a new person then, it's someone they're already familiar with, plus maybe someone else.
Yeah, because we had a case where the teacher got pregnant, and the students loved her, and they were like, oh, she's pregnant, but we're going to stop. And I was like, oh my god, so we'll give you another teacher who's good as well.
So that part of your first question about what does moving from one-man gig to the employee look like, Lawrence's presentation first, find your why. What do you want? What's the end result that you want 5 years from now, 10 years from now? For me, for example, my mother was a single mom. My mom got divorced when I was 2. For me, and I still up to this day have these memories of me being bullied by when I was growing up and all of this stuff, and see my friends having dads. For me, it was my why was, I want to be a present dad to my kids. I have 2 girls. I wanted to be the one, not in the classroom when they come back home from school. I wanted to be home, asking them about their day. Talking to them about if they have problems, if they come crying or whatever it is. I wanted to be. That was my why.
How did you do that? Straight up.
What do you mean? I didn't do it straight up. My kids were when I came into Japan. I was 38. So and then my oldest was 3 at that time. The youngest was not born yet. So they were still kindergarten age while I was building the school. When they become elementary, I was 60% out of the classroom for majority of the time. So now, since as they grew older in elementary and junior high school, I'm always there. So because for me it was important to have a relationship with my kids as a father was above anything else. So that was my why and why I wanted to get out. After that was happening, I started. My wife and I were everything was running. Was one location. No issues at all, had 2 good teachers, 200 students or something like that, and I was not teaching. I was sitting at home, and then we both looked at each other one night and we said, I'm bored. And she said, me too. You want to do it again? And that
every time I open a new school, it's because I'm bored.
Yes. So and that's like in that sense, I'm kind of adrenaline junkie. That I'm bored because when I was young, I had so many jobs. Because I was like, I had so many jobs, and I'm excellent in interview. If any of you interview me, you would hire me on the spot. I'm great. I can interview very well. But I would work somewhere for 6 months and a year. Will be the best. Get to the level that I'm one of the best top employees, and then I was like, okay, and what's next? Goodbye. I'm going to the next job. So.
Do you have any PhD.
I was just going to say,
Maybe.
I do.
I think now for sure.
I think all of us, if
Yes.
they were honest, probably have ADHD.
I think that's one
But
reason why
fine.
you're a good teacher though also, right? I feel like that's one of my good points is that you, like, maybe not such a great business owner yet, but that diversity, like, gives you such a head start against everyone else, right?
You asked about regrets about expanding or taking other teachers.
Yeah. How do you know it's time to expand?
I'm sorry, I
That's
caught,
okay.
caught on something about regret there, and it was I regret what the lessons that the children get aren't always at the level that I want them to be at. And I feel that when I was teaching on my own, I could maintain that level, but with other teachers in the classroom, it's very hard to maintain that standard. And for many of the earlier years of employing teachers, I didn't know it at the time, but it was because I couldn't communicate what it was that I did or why it was that I did it. And it took me years to figure out that as Lawrence was saying again this morning, it's not the what you do, but why do you make those decisions in the classroom? And so without being able to understand that myself and therefore communicate it to someone else, it led to frustrations. Cool.
Yeah, you're the next. It's your turn.
I have I'm speaking from a point of view of a mom. I think there are two things that you may want to expand. One is it is a need. One is a want. They may want to have a bigger school, earn more money. But what I heard from the situation is a need, because your current situation does not support that. You're just struggling, trying to survive. Right? So I think it is a need for you. It's not an option. You have to find a way to work differently from now. So it could be expanding by hiring teachers or work less or whatever, because you have kids. You have kids and you have your health, and that's most important. Without health, you have nothing, absolutely nothing, right? And also I think that a lot of times we have the idea of okay, we have to be busier when we expand, right? We have to sacrifice more time. But what I think is I have to earn less when I first started. So what I do is I actually hired new teachers, but I am still working with them. So I didn't have to hire them. I don't have more students, but because I'm working with them, then gradually I did what Ahmed does. It's you just in the beginning you go to every lesson, and then you just come every month, and you're still present, and then you're still teaching your teachers, and eventually you have more time yourself, and you can actually put effort on your marketing. What I heard from you is not that you're not good. You don't have time to market. You can have the best whatever here. You can have the best diamond here. But if no one knows about it, why would they come to you? Right? So I think for you, it's more a need. Just what I think.
Let's move on to the next question. Was that good for you? Yes. Can you raise your hand if you are a solo owner operator and a teacher? Okay. And raise your hand if you yeah. So just you're a solo owner operator, just you teaching. Just two, Wesley and Helen. Okay, three.
Sorry, what was the question?
If you are the owner operator and you're the only teacher in your school. Yes. Now raise your hand if you employ teachers. Okay. Raise your hand if you employ teachers and staff, which is Japanese staff. Okay. So next question.
Okay, what about your staff?
Staff.
One
Staff. Doesn't
no
matter.
teacher.
Oh, okay. Staff. Staff is okay. So next question comes from Mr. Johnson. How can school? It's a good question. How can school administrators empower their teaching or office staff to take on more leadership roles and contribute to the school's vision? It's a great question. It's not an easy answer question. It can be pretty broad. Because I know exactly why he's asking that. But one more time, how can school administrators, which is all of you or all of us, empower their teaching or office staff to take on more leadership roles and contribute to the school's vision? Who wants to go first?
I want you to go first. I want to hear you.
You guys employ and staff in teachers. So what do you think? How can you?
Can I add to that question? Sorry, I can't answer that had my staff for a year and a half. But I'm at a point where one of my staff wants more responsibility, but I don't know how to create that role because I still want to, I'm the boss and I want to remain in my position. So I just want to add a little bit more to that question.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay. So you just give her duties to do and then that's it?
Yes. What duties and how much pay does that earn? And I don't know where to go from here. I just want a teacher.
Can I contribute something? Because I'm not running a school, but I've been involved in various teams in companies through the years. And I've learned that the best way to recruit is to always recruit people who are better than you, so they can do everything you're doing, when you can do something else. And it sounds really sort of simplistic, but in reality it's not, because most people you recruit will be able to say one thing much better than you can. So give them that to do and let them take responsibility for it, because they're better than you anyway. So for example, if I had a Japanese staff member, they would be able to administer the payroll or the admin of the school much better than me, just because they can read the Japanese. But they may be better as an administrator.
Elon Musk.
So give them the power and the responsibility, and you don't need to worry about not being in charge.
So my two staff started working for me at the same time. One of them wants a higher position or wants to climb up. The other one is happy to remain a teacher. But if they started at the same time, I don't see how that's fair. It's going to affect the dynamic. The dynamic I want is I'm the boss and then I have two equal teachers.
Yeah, actually, so just sharing, because it may not work, but sharing from my corporate experience is that it should be based on merit anyway. And equality is almost impossible to find because everybody's different. So it's not saying one person is better than the other, but somebody's merits will take them higher than somebody else in the hierarchy. And not everybody wants to be a manager. Not everybody wants to find that people are happy doing what they do, which might be teaching, might be anything. So you don't have to keep them equal. It depends on the people.
Yes.
What are they expecting?
I just hired an office staff, like that was stepping out for me because I'm like, do it yourself. I'm a do it yourself kind of girl. So anyway, she loved doing it, but she didn't believe in herself. Like she was like a housewife, but to me, I saw so much potential, but she didn't see her own potential. So I was like, you could do more, you could do more. And she was like, man, I could use this girl.
So the dynamic working very well. If things run better, then you're also taking a
risk,
but
maybe risk big.
What's the risk?
like
What's the risk?
I think
Pushback or something.
yeah,
Respect.
it is good. It will challenge your thinking and maintaining that balance.
Yeah, I was hoping she would tell me.
Hey guys,
to do
I'm gonna
something
wheel the
different.
question back a little bit because it's a great discussion, but it's a little bit off topic.
Oh, is it?
The topic is, I want you to tell Adam Johnson. I want you to tell Adam Johnson, how can you empower your teachers or your staff to take on more leadership role? How can you empower? Not what you want them to do and give them more, oh, you can do this, great, because there's a lot more technicality goes, right? Because their question will be, am I going to get compensated more for it? Because now I'm doing well. Question is, how can we as owners empower our staff?
So this is like in Claire's situation, two teachers, one wants more responsibility and a bigger job, and the other doesn't. So it's how would you get the other one to have the ambition?
If you ask me that personally, I would spend my time with the one who wants to do more. I will invest, because my time is okane. My time is money. I don't waste time on people who don't want to help themselves. I invest my time and resources on somebody who wants to get better, who wants to grow professionally and personally, because if I invest my time into them, it will help my school, ultimately our students, and also it will help me to take a step back release that responsibility and focus on other things what I want to do, like spending time with Adam Johnson on the boat.
That's interesting.
So-
I feel intimidated by this teacher because I'm worried that she wants to take over for me. But what you're saying is that should be the goal.
Well, why do you feel she wants to take over? You think she wants to take over your job? At the end of the day, you are the CEO.
Yeah.
But
But
what's
I
your
do
long
feel
term?
intimidated that, yeah, if she does want to be some kind of manager or something, that I'll no longer be needed, and the course of the school will go more her way rather than mine.
You will always
I'll
be
lose my
You,
vision.
you are always be it because it is your school and it is your vision. Her job is to align with your vision. So there is not going to be her way. It is our way, our vision. And if she goes different direction, she's not the right person for you.
Based off of her.
That based off
of
of
what guys
Based on
said.
her.
The best boss I have ever worked with was someone who told me that, Doris, you're great. I expect that you can work here for 3 years
How do we
and we will get the maximum
nurture
out
that
of
in
you.
them?
And then when we're not big enough for you, you leave and I will write you a very great recommendation letter.
Wow.
And that's why I worked like hell for him for 3 years.
Do you feel insulted by that or empowered?
No, I was like, you see the potential in me that I will grow fast because like people grow, company grows. Like there, at a point, like he thinks that I will grow faster than the company growth, which he is also a very good CEO, right? So he said like, I'm not going to own you. I'm going to empower you. I'm going to let you shine. But at a point that I don't want to just like keep you here, keep you in a cage that you shouldn't be here, but like maximize that 3 years.
Wesley, you have something.
I just want to clarify the question, just like Paul was trying. Is the question, what do we do with motivated employees to give them opportunities to have leadership? Or is it about non-motivated employees that you want to motivate? Is the question actually?
The question, how can you empower your teachers or staff?
Who are motivated?
Well, the question is in general, how can you empower anyone on your staff, whether they're teachers or your staff, to want to take on more responsibilities or more leadership roles?
With many teachers, if a teacher comes in, they go into the classroom, they teach, right? And then you say to the teacher, would you mind cleaning the kitchen area or cleaning the toilet? What do most teachers say? That's not my job description. Right? How do you empower them to clean the toilet?
Empower is such a strange word.
Well, so if
Motivate?
can I pitch in? I have a question for those of you who have staff, teachers or Japanese staff. How many times do you meet with your staff to have a one-on-one? Who does one-on-ones?
Not regularly.
Who does one-on-ones once a month? Consistently.
Deliberate and
Together.
No. Sit down. You have one who does one-on-ones consistently. So once a month. Once a month. Twice a month. Twice a month. What question for you, Wesley? When you sit down during one-on-ones, what does your one-on-ones consist of when you're talking to your staff? Is it strictly training purposes? Is it strictly to give constructive feedback? Or is there something else?
I listen to the worries about the school and what they see as problems. Like, for example, the one teacher's very worried about the aircon.
Okay.
She complains about it being too hot to do inside or things like that. Although they complain about there's no privacy of the toilets.
So let me ask you, and for those of you who doesn't know me, I'm very direct. So please don't think I'm an asshole. I'm not trying to be abrupt, but this is just how my personality is. So what you're doing, you're using your time, which is a very important and precious, to spend time for one-on-ones as a bitching fest. All they do is complain about the problems at school, the aircon and stuff like that. Is it productive? So, are you empowering anyone? Change how you do one-on-ones. How we do one-on-ones.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, I'm listening, yeah.
How I do one-on-ones, and now actually, for those of you who met TJ, an African-American gentleman, he is my director of operations, and how we do one-on-ones, we do one-on-ones with everyone, every teacher, and schedule through Calendly. Once a month, it's already scheduled for the entire year, so it's regular one-on-ones. we spend 30 minutes, unless they want to do 1 hour because they have some kind of issue. Our one-on-ones is, first of all, it's personal. How are you outside work? We work on emotions. We want to know how are they doing in their life outside ABCDavid. How's your family? A lot of teachers are here, or like in Adam's case, right? He brings young kids from a university from the other country. They have no families here. A lot of them has lonely, things like that. So creating that connection is extremely important. And after you create that connection, that's what helps us empower them and later move them forward to and align with your vision. So we spend time on that. How are you doing that? Then how are you doing in your position? What struggles are you having in your classroom? I know we do trainings regularly and things like that, but and maybe they don't want to speak out a lot of times because I don't want to say what my downfalls are, but in one-on-one, they will say it. And they was like, okay, what do you think we'll do that plan? Or maybe we'll pull you out from the classroom this week, cover your lesson so you can observe that particular teacher who is really good at that. So our one-on-ones are specific and direct to connect with employees and also to help them overcome the problems. We don't do like I said, what do you think about our school? Because then you have too many chiefs and not enough Indians, and you're supposed to be the chief.
Are they compulsory?
For one-on-ones?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We do one-on-one, absolutely. And how we present them, once again, when I do the screening, and for example, if I do the first interview, I will let them know that, explain about the company, and I'll tell them upfront that we do that, and I explain to them the why. It's not because we want to control you. It's about we want to make sure that you're doing well, because your personal well-being is extremely important to us. Because if your teachers are tired or overworked or burnt out, are they good to you? Are they good to your school? Are they good for your students? The answer is no. So, and then how you empower is, for me, my short answer is trust. And as a school owner, I understand that was my biggest thing, and I know for everyone here would be probably Adam would agree. When our schools is our babies, right? And nobody will think about your business how you think about your business. Nobody will be invested in your business how you are invested in your business. And you cannot expect that from everyone. But I've learned in the last 5 to 6 years to trust more my people and not to be, if they make mistakes, the hardest part is to allow them to make mistakes. Huh? Yes. Be okay with them making mistakes, because that's human nature, how they learn. We tell the children in the classroom, it's okay to make mistakes. Speak. Then why don't we do with adults? Because human nature is, how many of you praise your staff on a regular basis versus how many of you jump on your staff when they make a mistake? Which one tips the scale? Probably the negative part, right? It's a human nature. So give your staff more trust and be able to do it, because what happens is if they make a mistake, they can reflect and think like, oh shit, I should have done this. And then when we have one-on-ones, we can reflect on that, and they correct themselves most of the time, that behavior, and then it didn't come from you, it came from self-reflection and self-wanting to do things.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
So I kind of follow what you do, maybe not as deliberate as you do. I think that's part of it. One more thing I might add though, is like I always, in empowering them, I think I always try to say like, and if you would continue, I see this for you. I think you can be this in the school. How do you get them to clean the toilet or whatever? It's giving them that idea of like, yeah, when I ran the school by myself, yeah, I was putting out the tables all by myself. I was washing tables and I was doing this and that. If you ever get into that point where if you like working here and all that kind of stuff, I want you here for 4 years. Keep encouraging them like that, and then say like, yeah, but remember that toilet sometimes doesn't clean itself. You got to be ready to do that kind of stuff too. You got to communicate that stuff, but also like what he's saying, it's got to start personal, and they will admit a lot. I think what they're doing wrong, what they're doing on themselves. I had that kind of one-on-one, and the guy just came out and told me like, I'm struggling with this one. I was like, yep, That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm glad you know that. I think you can do better from now on. And, here's what I might do. But I think, yeah, exactly what he's saying. Plus, just giving them like an idea, like if you are going to continue with us, I see you can become this, and give them that vision, I guess.
Not from an owner's perspective, but from a previous employee's perspective. My previous boss also expected me to do many things that I didn't find, so I didn't quite want to do them. Why? Because they all sounded like surprises to me. Like, oh, you expect me to do this? I didn't know that when I took the job. And there were so many expectations like that.
You have to be transparent.
And I never, every time it came to me like a surprise, it made me immediately against it. I didn't know I was going to pay for that.
To be honest,
I just wish I had a very clear idea of what I was getting into from the beginning.
Can I add something there from a sort of manager's point of view? I've noticed it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I learned this one a long time ago, and it does help. It's a bit late now, but every time somebody new comes in, you should give them some kind of documentation. There's probably a contract, and there should be a job description, but obviously sometimes it slips and stuff. The job description is written somewhere. There's a list of things they are expecting to do, and I now, due to experience, always right at the bottom, and any other tasks professionally and appropriately applied by your manager.
we have yeah, we've got that too, and any other duties or responsibilities asked by ABCDavid within contractual hours. Which means if you contracted by 30 hours a week, but you have 20 teaching hours, we can ask you to do whatever we'd like for you for 10 hours. Those 10 hours, whether it can be summer tasks, office tasks, cutting crafts, mopping the floor, as long as it doesn't go past your 30 hours, because you get paid the same, whether you're teaching or not. And we do go over that specifically during the onboarding.
I have taken it out of the drawer and shown them.
But that's what you're saying you didn't like at your last job, right? If you
Because it was
said,
surprises.
we need you, you don't have enough teaching time today, so we want you to mop the floors. And you're like, no, that's not my job, is that what you meant?
I did everything I was asked to do.
Right.
Unhappily.
You were not happy.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it was
So-
my job, and I understood
so
it.
how could
Even
his
if it was
boss-
like I don't mind. When I took the interview was just about teaching.
That's the problem, because they were not upfront with you about your
You
responsibility.
weren't clear of what the job
And then I took the job, and then I was like, I didn't know about 12-day weeks. I didn't know about handing out flyers. I didn't know that I was expected to clean things. I didn't know how to take videos for Instagram and use my face online and things like that.
That's because of your boss did not do a good job explaining things to you the proper way. But in my school, I never had this issue where it's not my job, ever. And I'm not saying to brag at all, because I actually tell them during onboarding, when we sit down and go line by line about their contract and responsibilities, I always say that we are due it's everybody's job. Everything in this school, it's everybody's job. If there's trash can overflowing when the kids wash their hands and put paper towels, if you see it, pick it up. And the best thing is, as the boss or as the leader, you do it yourself. Before, if I walk in and I see it, I'm not gonna go, hey, can you do this? I will do it. I will clean the toilet, because that's the best way, because if it was good for the goose, good for the gander, right? So it's the same thing. So as a boss, as an employee, my mentality is, they don't work for me, I work for them. So if you understand the meaning of that, I work for my team. So
I just think it's about expectations. Like, I like wine, but if I'm expecting to drink milk and wine gets into my mouth, I'm gonna gag.
I've never heard that one.
I think these two actually linked very well together, because you said you didn't like it because it was unexpected. And David said because you communicate with them. And for me, when I went to your school, it's not that you communicate with them, it's that you show them. What David does is of course, the interviewee will come and stay with them for a long time, a whole day. So looking at what other teachers do, and I think he does let other teachers talk to the teacher without him, and he literally pick up stuff on the floor. He'll literally do this in front of you, so there's no surprise, because you saw the boss doing that, right? And just for me, I one piece, I don't want to argue with people, so I actually tend to outsource things. Like, you know, I will hire a cleaner to clean instead of, I think like the teacher will have like that hour, he can do something that creates more value, and I will just hire a Filipino like helper who is happy to clean the toilet.
I just want to be clear that my question wasn't just about toilets.
The kitchen is not empowering.
And to be honest, everything we've talked about, I kind of already, I think I had an idea, but I wanted to throw it out there because I thought it was just a good question.
It was a good question. It is a good question.
But yeah, I'm probably going to lose my manager in the next 2 years. She's 60 next year. She's already said, you know, my husband's going to retire, blah, 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 blah. And I've got junior managers, 3 of them. Which one am I going to let go first to go up? You know what I mean? So I'm at that stage of
Which one of the 3 are best?
They're all great.
Do you
But
feel
if you had to pick one.
Because they've got different personalities, there's one I would choose. But then that person hasn't been there the longest. So you've got that issue. How do the others take that when this one sort of does that? You know what I mean?
But it's the same concept as best idea wins.
Yeah, what you were saying before.
Do you
know,
feel
I
any
understand.
competition between them? Like they can, obviously she's retiring because of age, they can see it coming. Do you feel there's a little bit of show to see who?
Healthy competition is good.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
competition is
actually,
good, but do you feel
the one I would like to see run the whole show is the one who says, I'm not ready yet.
What if you like created some kind of campaign or something and just
Make it a race?
I mean, don't tell them, but just be like, we're doing this kind of thing and this kind of event or this kind of whatever.
All right, I'll float this one out here.
Whoever.
I'm actually considering, I haven't decided, once my head manager retires, because at the moment, she's there, but they're doing most of it. So when she disappears, I'm wondering if I just leave it like that. Any ideas?
Are they each at a dedicated location?
They are.
That's what.
Yeah, well, yeah, do you need a head? Yeah, I don't.
It's when the big problems happen, and they do.
Yeah, who do they?
Can they step up? This one's always
Can you
taken.
not keep the retiree on like a consultation
I'm
contract?
considering
like,
that at the
where
moment.
you
We've
have
talked
to do
about
some
that.
consultations, like as like,
Just come in when
shit
you
hits
need
the
to.
fan, they need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
You can call her in and just pay her
definitely.
time,
I've
and
got
she's
the opposite.
mentoring.
The opposite to that also can be tried. We recently had a problem, very similar problem actually, and the staff were always depending on the manager who was going to leave, retire. So we it depends how well you get on with the manager in terms of if you can convince them to take 2 weeks off. Because if they take 2 weeks off at fairly short notice, those people suddenly have to do it.
In the deep end.
But it's only 2 weeks. So you can plan for it, and the manager can plan for it, and she's coming back anyway. So, but they kind of go into panic mode. But then they start to relax and maybe do it, and you'll see something from that. And that's before she's actually left, so you have to call her back. This is like a test of what's there, isn't it? And we did that, it was amazingly effective actually. We learned something this year.
What are your thoughts about having more than one manager at the top?
It depends. I've got a strong rule that you never have more than one manager point to point, but you can split work.
Well, I'm always at peak.
Yeah, and
There's always
downwards as
rules
well. Downwards and sideways as well, because other people find it very difficult if they don't know which person they're reporting to. But if it's not about people reporting, then you can split the tasks. So yeah, usually that doesn't matter. Don't replace the manager, just split the job. Yeah. It's definitely a good. Sorry, going on with it. But the other thing is, whenever you recruit, stop and think: do I actually have to? Do I have to? I've lost this position. Do I need to replace this position? Maybe I don't. Maybe I do something else. Always a good question. Very difficult to remember.
Can we move on?
Right, empowering teachers to do more. I think, comment on this, Claire, I think I I would kill for that situation at the moment, where there's someone who wants to do more, Colin said, there are lots of people around who can do things better than I can. Not every area. This area, maybe this person. This area, this person. So if you can work out like not a middle ground, but like a common understanding, like, I see you want to do more. If you could do this, that would be really helpful. That might take some work off your plate, and it makes her feel that she's getting that extra responsibility,
Then
which
there's
might
the
be
question
great.
of compensation after that.
Yeah, but that's worth it. If she's contributing more to the school. But
Do you mean you don't want to compensate? Is that why you're
That's
not?
where I have insecurity about the imbalance between two staff.
if she's doing
If one
more,
gets more
Do they know
money,
each other's salary?
Yeah, of course.
Why do they know each other's
Yeah,
salary?
I'd never
Because
understand.
Did you tell them?
Because we signed the contracts
But
together.
how do they, two different separate people knows each other's salary? Did,
Because we signed the contracts together on the same day, we renewed the contracts on the same day together at the same time.
my
It's the
advice,
same
don't
amount.
ever do that again. You do one-on-one because also it's a privacy information, it's a privacy issue. That actually it's a legal issue. Potentially could be, yes.
But next renewal, you can do it separately.
Okay,
Yes.
You can put them up a little bit and put them up a little bit more. They shouldn't be talking about each other's salary.
They shouldn't, and if they share with each other, ask that you are not involved with that. And if the other one comes back and you say, well, she is taking a higher role and higher responsibilities, I'd be more than happy to discuss that options with you.
I learned one thing from Scott Crow. He told me that, if someone wants to work more and have to pay more, then he would tell this guy saying that if you could bring in more revenue to this exact point, then I will pay you. So he would say that you have to, for example, you want Juma more, then you have to earn some Juma more for the company because we have to pay tax and this and that. So maybe that's something to consider.
Set them a goal for me to meet them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Next question is from Wesley Calvin. Wesley? Yeah? Okay. What's the best way to maintain a good relationships and clear learning expectations with part-time employees when there is no time for conversation between classes and messaging outside work feels intrusive? I'm gonna give my 2 cents how I do it, and the reason why I'm doing it the way I do is because I've done many different ways, and if I found for me, it works best. I include extra time into the part-time hours. So if they, for example, if they're teaching in a week 15 hours, and they come, and then let's say you allocate 2 more hours for prep and then cleanup, so that's 17 hours. I pay them for 18 hours, and then we meet once a week on the clock. So let's say if you're paying them Nissan yen an hour, for example, you're meeting with them once a week. It costs you extra 8,000 yen a month. Is it 8,000 yen will make you or break you? Does it make a difference? Probably not as much as it will make a difference as you coaching and having one-on-ones with that part-timer, giving them, asking them how they're doing in the class, giving them your expectations, and then teaching them. That's what I do, and this is the best way that I have found yet. Because otherwise they're like, well, my time is this. So if you expect them to stay and talk to you after that, my mentality, you gotta pay to play.
So your part-time contracts are all hour-based and not class-based?
I rarely have part-timers, but when I do, it will be based for the hours, yeah.
I do that when I'm cheaper, so I have a teaching hour rate. It could be like 3,000, but then I also have a non-teaching hour rate.
Yeah, like an office hour
So
rate.
that would be like office hour that's like 7,600. And then that will include, talking to me or talking to the other teacher, or just clicking on the phone.
Yeah.
Good idea.
So you just included the time with the hours, and then you're gonna maintain a good relationship. It's never gonna be questioned as like, you're taking up my time, and then you don't have to do outside of working hour messaging communication. So you kill all the birds on the stone.
it might cost you a little more, but if that person is happy working and works longer and for stays in school for longer or takes for more hours, then it pays off.
You at the end you win, and also that employee, as you're sitting down with them and coaching them and fixing the little issues, they become a better teacher for your students, right? Which ultimately brings you more revenue. So that would be my answer.
We have team meetings every 2 months before we sort of rotate the next teacher, and then it would be optional, but I'll say if anyone wants to stay, we can go to izakaya or something after. It's quite nice. Most people stay.
Cool. Let's move on to the next question. Sorry, our time is kind of limited. Claire, I do want to answer your question. I was going to tell you that you're staying for the social, right? Yeah. So let me talk to you one-on-one about that, because also probably many people might not like my answer, because my answer will be very straightforward, and I don't want people to be like, what a dick. But
I look forward.
so
But let me have a first.
yeah,
We can be fly on the wall. Fly on the wall.
How about this? I'll just read you Claire's question. One of my staff is on the spectrum. Amazing teacher though. She is not super team focused and finds it difficult to respect me as a boss and asks for things a lot. 2 spray bottles instead of 1. An extra calculator because an extra AC or circulator because she's hot. Extra of things or different paper towel holders. I said no, but it becomes tiresome to hear those things, those requests. She can accept a no, but it feels kimazui and awkward, right? Any advice to fix the dynamics? So
You could tell I was kind of pissed off that
Yep,
day. Like,
yeah.
that day when
the short answer is, so if I'm in your position, you are the only person that can make the choice, whether you want to deal with it or you don't. If you want to deal with it, suck it up, buttercup. If you don't want to deal with it, she's a great teacher, find another great teacher. Because your mental health is also important. If it's draining you out on a daily basis, she does good for the students, but if you have to go through this on a daily basis and things like that, make a change, but you have to make the choice. So that's the short answer.
I look forward to the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, move on.
Okay.
What a dick.
What a dick. So, what a dick. Say it loud so they can hear. Say it, no?
What a dick!
Not you. She was walking and you're like,
Timing is everything.
okay, this next question is a really good question. It's from Katie Kato. Actually, she has 2 parts question, but this question actually is some of the, I would like to hear you guys.
Should we get Katie in? She's just outside the curtain.
If she wants to come in, sure. Her question is, what she will listen, she will watch recording, right? What are the best ways to offer positive and negative feedback? How often should you provide your staff with the feedback? That's a great question, and actually, I'm going to be chiming in last, but I would like to know, what do you guys do? What is the best way to offer positive and negative feedback, and how often should you do it? How do you do?
I'm always talking.
Okay.
But I'm happy to.
You have Jeremy. Yes, you seriously, you quiet like a fish on ice. So you do have a staff, one staff, right? You do have a staff, so you can relate. So, question for you: what is the best way you offer positive or negative feedback to your staff, and how often should you do it?
You forgot your.
That's your questions. That's why we called you.
I forgot what I asked.
That's what he said.
Okay, in my situation, I used to give positive feedback when they do something good. At the time, they do something good. Otherwise, it doesn't mean much. Negative feedback, I usually find a quiet time, maybe after work, to bring them up to a room privately and just talk to them. Okay, so what do you think about this situation? How can we avoid it? And just see how it goes from there.
Okay. Helen. But if you did, how would you handle it?
I can tell you how I would handle it from my own experience. So before I opened my own school, I worked 5 years in a nursery school. I was taken on supposedly to help the manager and learn from her. She was the worst boss ever. I've never met anybody as bad at being a boss. Everything that happened that went wrong, we were shouted at, we were criticised, we were belittled. But anything went right, none of it was ever used to anything we'd done. So that's how I wouldn't deal with it. I think positive feedback is more important than a lot of people realise, even as adults, especially in Japan. Even as adults, people need to hear that what they're doing is working well. And it also helps soften the blow when you tell them that something is not going wrong, but don't shout at them for it. Certainly don't deduct pay or belittle them in front of others for it. But I think, as Jerry said, take a quiet moment and talk about it as more as a discussion rather than accusative. That's how I would deal with it.
Good point. Nick? Sandwich it with positive, negative, positive is one thing. Also, ask why. Why did you do it that way? Because maybe they have a good reason. Maybe you're going to learn something for a second there. But then you can say like, okay, but I didn't see it as effective right now, so here's how I probably would have done it. Try that next time. See which one works better.
Katie, how do you do it?
How do I do it?
I wasn't always that way.
Yeah, we have, if I observe lessons or something, and I'm not so sure I loved what I saw or something like that, or I think there could be another way to do it. Usually we have staff meetings, and then I kind of like they don't know that I'm telling them directly. Do you know what I mean? So like and we have a discussion about it, and then I ask everyone their opinions on how to teach something like in this way. Like, so how do you guys think, or how is everybody doing, for example, like extensive reading, we're doing that right? So it's going to actually be the topic. Oh no, this really bugged me, and we're going to talk about this in the next meeting. I got there, and it was like, they were still taking homework 15 minutes, and I just thought they were wasting a little bit too much time. But then in the end, it ended up being a really good lesson, and it was fine, but I just felt like, oh, that 15 minutes was a little bit wasted. So at the next meeting, I'm going to start the meeting, and that's the first topic on the agenda, is homework checking time, and how can we check homework more efficiently without saying, why did you do that? We're just going to talk about ways to check, because there are different ways, and I don't believe in doing it the same way every time. So we can all check homework together, we can have kids do the tablet games or whatever while we're checking, because sometimes you have to give them one-on-one support. But what I felt like was that teacher's letting them do the tablet all the time and just wasting a bunch of time. So I want to just give more strategies, but I don't want to be direct and say don't do that. And that would be my first way to do it. So I'm not I'm not very direct in like telling people not to do it. If something really pisses me off, I will, but that's my style. But yeah, I'm interested in how other people give feedback. Yeah.
How often are the meetings?
Meetings are about once or twice a month.
Yeah. Because sometimes I'm the same, and I really want to wait to the meeting, but then the meeting's like a month away. I'm like, can't.
Well then, if that happened, I would probably just like have a conversation like the same thing, like, hey, what are you doing for homework? And I'll act like I want to. But yeah, I honestly, like, seriously was in there here. I came in and I was so annoyed, and I got my thing, agenda for the next meeting. I typed it out because I was like, I can't forget to talk about that because it really bothered me. But it would be better not to talk about it at that moment because I was so flustered about it. Yeah. And it was better that I listened to the rest of the lesson and then thought, oh, that was actually a really good lesson, and I was pleased. But that first 15 minutes kind of,
Just listening to Nick, I realized the only time I give positive feedback is when I'm about to give negative feedback.
So that's,
it's coming.
I don't think I've ever given impromptu positive feedback, just that thank you, goodbye.
That's a
so you need to get into that habit.
I can tell you as a sensitive person that people who do that, I know, and the minute they give me an advice, I'm like, oh, what have I done? Like, like something's up. So
work
why
on that
are you
habit.
praising me? So some people will
and all the time.
immediately take it as a.
But when do you give positive feedback?
Always.
Because I mean, always.
Like, if you watch a lesson and they kind of suck, you watch a lesson and it's like average, find the thing that you thought was good about it. And just tell them, like, right, we can only expect that, like, our teachers are gonna do 70% of what we can do. If they give us better than that, we need to be super happy.
Can I ask, like, after your lesson, like you watch the lesson, do you give them feedback immediately or what for some time? I feel that I want to give it immediately because, like, if I were to teach, I would forgot what I did already. Tell me the next day. But a lot of times they just feel shit, something's coming up, or she's going to talk to me. Like, and my teacher is very sensitive.
I have a question. You're all talking about feedback after watching lessons. Are you talking about watching lessons with somebody who is new, or are you talking about watching, observing lessons with already teachers who know what to do and things like that?
Both.
In between.
Both. How often do you observe and watch teachers who've been with you for a year or two, know what to do? How often do you observe?
Not as much.
Well, how often? How many times a year?
I'm not teaching once a month if I can.
How do you observe? Sitting in or cameras?
I'll be sitting in, pretending I'm not pretending, but I'll be doing like some other work.
You can hear.
I usually try to set out a table. The classroom's right there. I'll set out a table here, and I'm on the computer the whole time.
Yeah, I understand. But I wouldn't listen to the full lesson.
Can I ask a question? Then I have a question for you. Can I ask the reason why do you observe someone who's been with you for a while, should know what to do, should be properly trained, but if you continuously resign them, so obviously you want them to be on staff, but yet you observing them every month? What is the reason?
Sometimes they want me to. Usually they want me to. And because they, especially probably my best guy, he's always asking for feedback.
Okay.
He's always wanting to improve, and I appreciate that. He's gone from really bad to really good.
So,
but I haven't seen him in about 6 months. Because
how many staff do you have, sir?
teachers, 6 or 7.
Your best guy? Make him like head trainer. Let him train other people, and then he'll stop coming to you and asking to be.
Well, I had the.
Can I go back to Helen's point? What I do is definitely, it's like with children. With adults, you praise in public, you reprimand in private. I apply this, whatever strategy, whatever it is, with kids, with my own kids too. If you ever have if you have 2 or 3 children, and if you scold one of your kids in front of everyone, right? Sometimes they get down and why? Because they feel embarrassed. You could have talked to me one-on-one, right? Especially when you have the teenagers and teenager. So that's what I call my kids, the teenagers. So, and then when they get to that age, right? When you having a conversation, and they're like, I wish you would have told me privately, right? Because I don't want to be embarrassed in front of my sister, for example. So same thing applied with adults. So as I mentioned earlier, what I do is usually my job is like, they don't work for me, I work for them. And now since I'm more out, I'm in the transition year, so TJ runs more operations and I'm focusing on building the kids camps. What I do is, because I'm not in the classrooms a lot, I don't see the teachers and things like that, but I do, I bought it on Temu. But they have those little things like little cards with the little messages. For example, I'm a hoppity frog, and I'm here to tell you that you're awesome and blah, blah, blah. Right? And then I will write on the back of the card, and it comes with a little frog and a little thing. It costs nothing. And then I will write little messages, and I will point out why I appreciate what they do. And it's not, it could be about if I happen to walk into their classroom and I see a lot of smiles from somebody who is a brand new teacher from April, and she never had experience with the kindies, and her class is just so loud and powerful. I will just point out that. To my guy, John, I want to use an example. I will read you his message back. I sent it to him because he's the one who started taking care of our Instagram and do all the videos. If whoever follows my Instagram, you see all these videos, he does it. It's part of his job. That's what he was hired and paid to do together with teaching. But I actually point out and give him appreciation for that. And I wrote that you have taken our Instagram so much, 110% turnaround, and it's great, and you have made improvement. And I just want to let you know that I see you, I see you and I appreciate you. And he sent me a response at 11 o'clock at night because he came home. You know, I gave it to him in between the classes, and then that night he sent me a message. Hi David, sorry for the late message. Just wanted to say thank you for the much needed appreciation you gave today. Hope we can catch up soon. When you have time, I need to share an important life update I've been holding on for the weeks.
I'm quitting.
No. That's what I thought.
That would scare the shit
I was
out
like,
of me.
what the fuck?
11 p.m. at night.
The next day I was like, John, I'm available. But he shared with me something else, the epiphany that he has. And then thanks again and good night. So
I couldn't sleep.
you know what I mean? So those little, that's what I thought. My wife was like, oh.
Right.
But that's the whole point. Those little things, right? You don't have to say much, but just to give somebody, and yes, praise often and as much as you can. Adults need attaboy more than kids, and especially because they're you know, we all teachers, we know our job is not easy, right? Teaching kids is not easy. Classroom management, it's not easy. It's a very stressful job, but people need to know and feel appreciated. If people feel appreciated, you can align them better with your vision. There will be more the trust, and then you can ask them to clean the toilet because they will gladly to do it because they have that connection with you. Like, he was holding it for weeks. He didn't talk to the management or didn't talk to the colleagues, but he wants to share something with me, and I see him rarely now. So I think it's extremely important, and we do the feedback. We talked earlier during one-on-ones, and but I never yelling at somebody or scolding somebody, and I learned it the hard way because sometimes, like you said, sometimes I just want to say it now. It's better to step away because you will regret the choice of words you will use. I've regret many times, but I'm so much better now with this. Step back. Even the other day, I had I had a hard conversation with my management team, who, in my absence while I was enjoying vacation in Canada, was taking kids and things like that. And then something they decided to handle on their own, and they didn't let me know because it was part of their job you have to let me know something that is red, for example. So when they dig the hole so deep after dealing with it by themselves for a month, then they don't know, now we don't know what to do. You know, Daddy David come to the rescue, and then they tell me. It's not what they did. I was really upset about that they didn't follow the protocols that are in place to not let me know right away and seek the advice how to handle it. But I was so fucking angry. So, and the thing is, I was so angry that what I did. Sorry, people at home. But I was so angry that in that moment, I realized that, and I told them, I don't want to talk to you at this moment because I don't want to say things I regret, and I walked out. And then 5 minutes later, when I walked in, the female manager, Naomi, she was crying. And she wasn't crying because of she was crying because that silent walk out and not saying, I think that was the most powerful thing. And because I asked her, like, why are you crying? I didn't say anything, you know. And then she told me because she's like, that was for the first time for her to experience. Like, I was like, I better not say anything right now. Let me calm myself down and rearrange my thoughts and say that. So I think it's very important to know.
I do that in university too. Class meltdown, you know. Just a minute, I'll be right back. Exit. And I come back in. Okay, we'll deal with this later. Page number 2. Everybody's like, she didn't say anything.
Okay, I'm not sure about the time yet. We haven't been told, but how about this question is from Brian. Brian had a good question. What is your line in the sand where you know you can no longer work with a person? How do you make that exit without damaging your culture?
How do you make what?
How do you make that exit without damaging your culture? Basically, how do you make that separation, right? When do you draw a line in the sand? The reason he put this question because to me, and I asked him, like, it's a great question. He said, because you lead with empathy. I lead, my management style is leading with empathy. And Lawrence talked about Simon Sinek before. I follow Simon religiously. I learned a lot from him. I used to not lead with empathy. I used to lead with like, you know, you're an adult. I hired you to do the job. Do the fucking job. That was me. Leading with empathy is excruciating, painful, and hard at times because because it's a 50-50 game, right? You want to be understanding and you want to be supportive and you want to be helpful. Some people understand that. Most people do not, and then become entitled. Do it more and more for me, right? So when I draw the line in the sand is whenever I feel that not directed to me personally, but when is that person is affecting the entire team in a negative way. Well, it can be students. Students is obviously, but if they affecting the culture of our team, whether if somebody has excessive absences and people have to cover lessons, for example, right? It's affecting the culture of the team, and then other people get upset that maybe I have to cover or go to another location. So when I see that, and I will definitely make an exit, the exit at that point. So, and at that point is prior to that, we will have conversations and we will come up with with an action plan, how for them for improvement, and we'll probably do we'll do it twice. And after that, and if it still continues, then I will cut it out. And I know some people asked me in the past, well, David, you will if you break your yearly contract with somebody and as a school, you can receive government subsidy, right? I think it's like Yonjuman per employee. You're gonna lose the subsidy. To me, Yonjuman is nothing in comparison of a shitty school morale that I worked so many years and so hard to build. Building the culture worth so much more than losing the Yonjuman. So just to let you know, in June, I fired one teacher who started from April. 2 weeks ago, I fired another teacher from the same location who started training in January, but a new teacher too, because they were toxic. I will not let cancer spread in my company. And usually like I said, like for me personally, I interview very well, so you would not know that I can be toxic. And some people interview very well, and then, like Adam said, after 3 months, probation period, you see the true face. Luckily, this is the only time that I've done it, that fired anyone. But things can happen, but I will not, our hiring process is very long. We do phone call conversations, 2 Zoom interviews, a day in the life for 8 hours. And so it takes time because this also weeds out people who just want to come in and collect the paycheck. They're not really interested in my school. They're just spreading their resumes everywhere, right? And I want to make sure I measure 7 times and I cut once. So I'm trying to be very careful in my hiring process, but when things go sour, I would not babysit, and all my empathy finish. If you're affecting, damaging the team, not me. This is not about me. If you're damaging the team and affecting the team in a negative way, then there is no more patience, there is no more understanding, and I do not want to work with you. And I usually do not hire people who are not a good human being. Because my question to myself is, would I want to work with this person? And if my answer is no, I would not hire them. It doesn't matter what skills they have or what they can do for my company. TJ was one example, and he knows it because I told him to his face, because I knew him from before I hired him, and I did not like him. He was very cocky, he was very abrasive. I fucking hated him. I was like, fucking American. He knows it, so that's why I can speak truthfully. I'm very open, but he was the only example that I actually hired because I knew he never skipped jobs. He was at the job for like 5 or 6 years at this company, 6 years at this company. He was doing that. So I thought, I'm not hiring him to be friends. I'm hiring him to do the job. Then he kind of changed, and he changed his abrasive style and things like that. And that was the best hire, one of the best hires that I did, because he's been with me now 7 years, and now he's running the operations and allowed me to do other things that I want to do. So that's.
Can I ask, did you feel
It is never amicably. It is never amicably because
We both agree to dislike. When I say amicable, it's not like, oh, fine, thank you very much, I'm going to leave anyway. But like, do you think?
we having a professional conversation, but once you let them know, they right away become like it's a pride that gets in the way. But the thing is, it is nothing personal. You know, you were a great teacher for us while you were here. When you were here, that's my spiel with somebody who have excessive absences, like one of these gentlemen who was absent 14 times in 3 months probation period for the first 3 months. So his contract got renewed to another 90-day probation, a mutual agreement, and then it still did not fix. So when you were here, you're great. So it is nothing personal against you, but you do not fit this team. You may be good for somebody on team, so I'm sorry. So and it's never amicable. Yeah, I mean, people threaten me with the lawsuits and stuff like that. I was like, go ahead. I retain an attorney, so I do everything by the book. Any paperwork I provide, give it to them. And the recent firing was, he was not happy with something, and then he got intoxicated the night before. He was not thinking clearly. Messaged TJ saying, "I'm quitting." Call another Nahomi manager on the phone and says, "I'm quitting." So in writing, he put his notice. So it's like, and we were gonna let him go anyway. So I was like, great, I don't have to let him go. Now he is quitting. I will accept your resignation pending immediately. You don't have to work for me for 2 weeks. But due to something what he did, which was slandering of company in public, and we knew about it, and I have all the reasons. My Sharoshi created the paper saying, we are placing you on 2 weeks, what is it called? On the 2 weeks suspension without pay. So I didn't have to pay him for those 2 weeks notice. So basically, I accepted his resignation, put him on a probation without pay, and when his not probation, suspension without pay. When suspension ends, you're gone.
So we never told him that.
No. Why would I keep him? I do not keep. And the thing is, I got lucky because actually the both teachers that got fired recently, they were all in the same location. So they did not work with anybody else, so it was not really spreading. But I just cut it off. Yes, it's put a little pressure on us because now my management has to fill in and cover while we're hiring someone. But we've been hiring since June. I have not even hired one yet. But the thing is, I want to hire the right person because I don't want to deal with this shit again. So. Yeah, no, I mean, no, you can't accept, and even if he was not placed on that suspension, I was okay to accept his resignation immediately and just pay him for 2 weeks. So it doesn't matter, because I don't want you anymore in my school poisoning environment, because it's so much harder to take so much time and effort to build a culture and build a team than if somebody poisoned it. Then like all your hard work and dedication over the years and the time and energy and finances that you spent, it goes away. Because what misery love company, right? They're griping about some stuff to their co-workers rather than talking to you about it and let's fix the situation. But instead of that, they're choosing to be canceled. Are we done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
But yeah, sorry. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for all the